Fellow yoga and fitness friends, thank you for joining me on the mat today. We have a Yin Yoga practice for renewal. So we're going to take it nice and easy today. We've got a series of Yin poses that we will find and stretch and release and hopefully find renewal. So for props today, you'll want to gather, if you don't already have them handy, a blanket or two, maybe some towels, anything that you can use to help add some comfort to the poses if you find that you need some extra support. A couple of blocks, pillows, bolsters if you happen to have those. I'll stick with the blanket, towels, and blocks for today. All right, so once you've got your props, we'll lay on our back to begin in constructive rest. So coming to the back, the soles of the feet to the mat, about as wide as the mat. Maybe shimmy the legs side to side before you find some stillness, letting the knees fall in towards each other. Lift the head, lengthen through the neck. The arms can come alongside the body, or maybe across the belly, or perhaps one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart. And here we'll just start to connect in our space. Connect the body, the mind, and the breath. We'll start to bring our thoughts, our intention towards the idea of renewal. Starting to lengthen the inhales to a count of 4 or 5. Matching the exhales to that same count. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever stays, let it stay. Whatever goes, let it go. Renewal is what happens when you realize that the stuff you've been holding on to no longer matters. And as we use our yoga for physical renewal, we can also use it for mental and spiritual renewal. So today, when we're holding our Yin poses, I'll offer some affirmations. And you're welcome to take those affirmations for your own, or come up with something you'd prefer, maybe a mantra or phrase, something that resonates with you. One more deep inhale here. As you exhale, extend the legs, reach the arms up overhead, full body stretch, and then roll to one side. We'll come up for a moment so that we can set up for our first pose. A reclined butterfly, using the blocks underneath like a supported fish. So here I take one block, either on the low or the medium setting. It will be perpendicular to the body, vertical. It'll go right between the shoulder blades. The other block will go horizontal to the body, and that will support the head. So here I've got my block on the medium setting. Again, you can choose to have it a little lower. Whatever is a little more comfortable for you, knowing that we'll be holding this for several minutes. And as you come down, again, checking that that block lands right between the shoulder blades. Maybe the top of the block coming to the base of the neck. The block to support the head right underneath the base of the skull. And I might need mine a little higher today. The legs will take in butterfly pose. The soles of the feet will come together. The knees open wide. And if you find that you need some support underneath the knees, maybe some blankets or some additional blocks or pillows, anything just to help support the legs from underneath. And we'll start to settle in here. So as you start to make those final minor movements, we'll settle into a spot where we just feel the stretch gently, not too intense. We'll come into a place of stillness and focus on the breath. Smooth, deep breathing in and out through the nose. And your affirmation for this pose: my past is not a reflection on my future. You can repeat that silently or maybe even aloud. My past is not a reflection on my future. Becoming aware of the body here, just noticing if you're feeling any uncomfortableness through the hips. You can slide the feet out a little further to de-intensify that butterfly. If a pose becomes just too uncomfortable or too painful, start to ease out of it, see if that helps. If not, come completely out of it. Of course, you can come to hug your knees or child's pose. Taking one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, the hands come outside the knees. Gently pull them in towards each other. Maybe the feet walk back slightly. We'll roll off the blocks for just a moment. Moving on to our next pose that still includes the blocks. Here I'm going to take the block horizontal to the body. And I may not need this block to support my head. So again, you can be on the low or the medium setting. I think I'll take this one low. And that is going to come to the mid-back this time. So underneath the shoulder blades, above the low back, right in that spot, kind of underneath the low ribs, or right on the low ribs. So checking in here. As you start to lay back, you may find it's a little too much, so of course, maybe having something not quite as tall as a block to support the head. As the chest starts to open, this time our legs will be long. The shoulder blades start to come, or the shoulders start to come towards the mat, so if you need to adjust the position of the block, certainly do so. And then relax the legs. Check in with the neck. Make sure you feel supported here. Making any final adjustments as we come to rest. Focusing the breath. Your affirmation here: I am open to renewal by allowing old beliefs to fall away. I am open to renewal by allowing old beliefs to fall away. And taking one more deep inhale here. Nice full exhale. Let the feet come to the mat. Maybe pulling the torso up or rolling to one side, whatever feels easiest. And then our next pose still includes the block. Here we're going to have it at our, underneath our sacrum. Actually, I'm going to move it first and I'll come down. So basically a supported bridge. So the feet press in, we'll lift the hips just enough to slide this block under on the low setting, coming right underneath the sacrum, kind of that space around the tailbone. And then checking in here how the body feels, if you need some extra support under the head. Certainly find that. Otherwise, extend one leg here. Start to notice as you lower that leg how it feels. If it starts to bother or pinch, just come back to keep the feet flat on the floor. So option 1, feet on the floor. Option 2 is one leg extended. We'll switch halfway. Or you may find option 3, which now extends the second leg. If you took option 3 and you find partway through that that's just too intense, you can always move to option 2 or option 1 with 1 or 2 feet to the mat. So settling in here, finding the breath. Your affirmation here is simply, I have might and power. I have might and power. And if you chose the single leg option, now would be the time to change. And if you have both knees extended or both knees bent, just stay where you are. Noticing if you're gripping or tensing, maybe through the legs or through the glutes, try to relax. And take one more deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly bring one foot to the mat and then the other. Pausing here a moment. Our next pose set includes or keeps the block right where it is, so we'll just pause here briefly before moving on. All right, so the next pose involves a twist while the block is underneath this space here. So the first thing we want to do is shift our hips, so lift them up gently, slide over towards the left, pretty far over, so maybe just the right side is on the block. Take the left foot up to the mat, up to the ceiling. Extend the right leg. Tee the arms out. And then take that left leg all the way over. If you find that you or coming off the block. As you start to twist, you may have to shift the hips further. So allowing that foot to come over, slowly, gently working its way down to the floor. And if you find that this left arm is not going to touch down, you can always have it propped up on a block or a blanket or something like that for support. And the affirmation here, I have sound, knowledge, and wisdom. One deep inhale here. As you exhale, return to center, nice and slow. Readjust the hips atop the block. Pause for a moment in the middle. Now shift the hips towards the right of the block, so just that left hip is on the block. Take the right foot to the ceiling, arms tee out. Left leg extends along the floor. Right leg carries over, adjusting on that block if you need to, so that you feel secure. Slowly take the right foot towards the floor. And returning to that affirmation, I have sound knowledge and wisdom. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, slowly coming back to center, readjust the hips on the block. Pause a moment here. And when you feel ready, slowly lift the hips a little so you can slide the block out, lower down all the way. Notice how the back feels along the mat. Take the knees, hug them in. Hands atop the knees here. Press the knees away. Take them to the right. Pull them in as you move them towards the left and away. One or two more times this direction. And then change, taking it to the left, drawing in to the right, open up. right. Take the knees all the way to one side, moving to our hands and knees here. So stack the hips over the knees, the shoulders over the wrists, spread the fingers wide. We'll take just a couple of cat-cow movements here. Inhaling, lower the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, press into the hands, round the back. Belly pulls up into the spine, the tailbone curls under. Inhaling to cow. Exhaling to cat. Coming back to neutral. Now we'll move to our belly. Finding our next pose, which is Sphinx pose. So Sphinx pose, we're on our forearms here. The elbows stacked underneath the shoulders. Forearms are parallel, fingers spread wide. Walk the legs towards each other. Let the pinky toes spiral down. Feel the tailbone reaching towards the heels as you start to lift up through the spine, getting the head and neck out of its turtle shell. Maybe find a little sway side to side. Now if you find that this is too intense, you can find a modification with a blanket underneath the front of the hips. So if you don't need the blanket, just stay where you are on the belly. If you're taking the blanket, it just comes under the hips. So here's one version with it just under the hips on a lower setting. You can also find just a little bit higher, and it comes more under the belly here in front of the hips, just to help support that midsection as you're propped up here. Finding stillness. Your affirmation here, starting now, I choose to be in control. Starting now, I choose to be in control. And here, just take the chin towards the chest, maybe offering a little relief to the neck. Take the left ear to the left shoulder, and then back through center over to the right shoulder, back to the center. Alright, so from here, just take the hands atop each other, forehead right on top for crocodile pose. Just relax here. Softening for a breath or two. If you've got a blanket underneath you, that can move away. Prepare for our next pose. So a shoulder opening pose. We'll start by taking the right arm out to the side, the left arm underneath the shoulder, and we'll simply press into that left hand as we roll the body backwards. The left foot becomes a kickstand, either on top of something if you can't reach the floor, or directly on the floor. Head relaxes down. You can intensify by bending through that right elbow like a cactus arm, here. Or you can de-intensify by letting the body come forward a little more, not taking it back quite so much. And your affirmation here. Today, I choose to approve of myself and love myself deeply. Today, I choose to approve of myself and to love myself deeply. And take one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, return to the belly nice and slow. Find that crocodile pose, one hand stacking on top of the other. Forehead rest on both. And then we will move to the other side. So the left arm now extends. The right hand comes underneath the shoulder. Rolling backwards. Finding the right leg as a kickstand. Head resting down. Focus on the breath. Today, I choose to approve of myself and to love myself deeply. And one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, returning to the belly. Pancake the hands, rest the head on top. While we're in this prone position, on our bellies here, we will find half frog. So for half frog, we'll simply take our left knee, pull it up so that it's a 90-degree angle in the hip, at the knee and at the ankle, so you're flexing through the foot. If, depending on what you're on, if the ground is too hard underneath this knee, you can slide a blanket under here. You might also prefer to have a blanket under your head here if your hands get a little too bony underneath the forehead or the face. So start to settle in. Return to the breath. And your affirmation here, I surround myself with positivity. I surround myself with positivity. And taking one more deep inhale. As you exhale, just slide that left leg back into position alongside the right. Take a deep breath. And then pull the right leg up. So finding again that 90-degree bend in the hip, the knee, and the ankle as you flex that foot. And again, if you need a pillow or something soft to rest the forehead on, certainly do so. And then as you settle in, taking a deep inhale Exhale as you release. Soften into the pose. Coming back to that affirmation. I surround myself with positivity. I surround myself with positivity. And taking one more deep inhale. And as you exhale, sliding that right leg to be alongside the left. Pausing a moment here. Then slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Very slowly start to press yourself up. Maybe walk the knees forward as we move into a seated position. So our next pose will be seated here. We'll take a butterfly variation. So the feet come towards each other, the soles of the feet together, the knees open wide. And here, because we'll be folding forward and holding that for a few minutes, you may find that it would be useful to have either a blanket or a bolster to help fill the space here. Could even be that you just simply build a tower with your blocks just to support the head. So you can kind of play around with what is going to let you feel supported from this position. And then you can intensify the stretch if you need intensity, just not too intense because we are being yin. You can pull the feet towards the torso. That'll give you a little more stretch. Or you can open the feet further away from the torso to create less stretch. So it really just depends on what you're feeling at this moment. Some days you may need more, and some days you may need less. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward. When you find that you cannot hinge any further, Start to round down, noticing if you're feeling any sensations in the hips or in the legs. Being mindful of how the body feels as you transition down. Making any of those little final adjustments, those little wiggly movements so that you can settle in here. Breathe, focus on the breath. And your affirmation here, my authentic self is my most beautiful self. My authentic self is my most beautiful self. And taking one more deep inhale here. And as you exhale, let the hands help the torso to come up. Move your blocks or props out of the way here. Take the hands outside the knees, gently pull them towards each other. And then step the feet a little wider. Hands can come behind the back here. We'll just windshield wiper the knees, taking the right knee down. And then the left. Once again, the right. And the left. Coming back to center as we prepare for our next pose, which will be a seated forward bend. So we'll extend the legs here. Now you do not have to have the legs completely straight. You can bend them, and another option is even to apply a little prop underneath the knees just to support them in that bend so they're not just hanging out. A gentle flex through the feet, lengthen through the spine, sweep the arms up. Bring the arms parallel to the earth. Slide them forward when you can't slide any further. Drop them down as you start to round the back, the neck. The head comes towards the knees. Here again, if you find some space between your legs and the head, you can use another prop, a block, or a towel to support. Fill the space. As you start to settle in, find that breath. In through the nose, out through the nose. Your affirmation here: I am open to reconciliation and renewal. I am open to reconciliation and renewal. Taking one more deep inhale. As you exhale, the hands walk up the legs, gently pressing up. Alrighty. Returning to our backs once more for a few more poses. Alright, so from our backs here, we'll start by finding inverted shoelace. So we're going to take the legs. You can either keep the knees side by side and just cross over the calves. So that's one option. Or you can cross this right leg above the knee, above that left knee, and then reach the arms or the hands towards the feet so that you're like pulling on two ends of the shoelace here. Relaxing the neck down. So we're not actively pulling here, so once you have the hands to the feet in a comfortable position, then start to relax down. so that the arms aren't continually engaged. Your affirmation here: I am in constant bloom. I am refreshed, rejuvenated, and reborn. Taking one more deep inhale here. As you exhale, the hands release from the feet. That left foot plants down to the mat. Keep the right leg crossed. Tee out the arms and simply shift the hips to the right. Take the knees down to the left. If this is too intense of a supine twist, you can uncross that leg and just allow the legs to stack. Settle in, using the breath to help you deepen the posture. Taking one more deep inhale. And as you exhale, the knees come back up. You can reshift the hips more towards center. Uncross the right leg. Take a moment here. And then cross the left leg over the right. So here again, you can cross at the shins, or you can take that right thigh to cross over the right, finding either the shins against the hands, or the feet, or the toes. And as you start to settle in here, with the hands on the feet, simply relax the arms down. Lift the head to lengthen the neck. And refocus the breath. Coming back to that affirmation. I am in constant bloom. I am refreshed, rejuvenated, and reborn. Taking one more deep inhale. As you exhale, release the feet. Take the right foot to the mat. Leave the left crossed over. The arms tee out. Shift the hips to the left and allow the knees fall over to the right. Again, if you find that this is now too intense of a twist, you can uncross the legs and allow them to stack. Otherwise, find the breath as you settle in. Taking one more deep inhale. As you exhale, bring the knees up. Resituate the hips to center. Uncross the leg. Pause a moment here. Now extend the legs. Reach the arms overhead. We're moving towards Bananasana, banana pose. So nice, good stretch to lengthen the body here. Then walk the feet over to the left. Lift up the shoulders, kind of shimmy them over towards the left as well. So you're creating this crescent shape. Making those adjustments as you need. You may find that your left hand wants to come to the right wrist just to help hold. And then more intense stretch would bring the right foot to cross over that left ankle. Breathing into both sides of the ribs evenly here. Inhale. Let the feet release towards the center of the torso, coming back to center. Nice full body stretch. And then walk the feet over to the right. Option across that left foot over. Lift the torso, the shoulders. Take those over towards the right as you crescent the body. Perhaps that right hand coming to the left wrist. Relaxing down as you find the breath. deep inhale here. Nice full exhale. Slowly walk the feet back to center, lifting the torso, bringing it to center once more, full body stretch. And then let the feet, the soles of the feet come to the mat. The hands can come to rest over the belly if you choose. Finding a comfortable position now for your final resting pose. It could be regular Shavasana with the legs extended. I'm going to choose the supported butterfly here, letting my feet come together, the knees open wide, and the blocks coming underneath the knees for support. I'll also take a blanket towel underneath my head just to offer a little lift to help my neck here. All right. So finding whatever pose and then those little final movements to allow you to settle in. And here we will rest for a few minutes. As you start to settle in, take a nice deep inhale to fill up the belly. The ribs, the side ribs expand. Exhale, letting everything go. Once more, filling up the belly. The ribs, taking the breath up into the throat. One more exhale, letting go of anything else you no longer need. Making space here. And just resting as the body starts to integrate this practice. And slowly bring your awareness back to your body. You can wiggle through the fingers, wiggle through the toes. Take the hands on either side of the knees if you're in butterfly. Slowly draw them together. Pull the knees into the chest. Might feel good here to rock side to side. And then slowly roll to one side so you can come up to sit. Comfortable seated position here, whatever that is at this point in the practice. Bring your mind once again to a place of renewal. Your final affirmation for this practice. Today, I am a new creation. I begin again with a clean slate, a fresh mindset, and a new start. Remember, you are the gardener of your mind. You are sowing seeds every moment of every day with the thoughts you think and the actions you take. The seeds you plant today will determine tomorrow's harvest. Choose mindfully. Bring the hands to the heart, the chin to the chest here. It's a symbol of gratitude for yourself today, taking time for this yin practice for renewal. I offer you peace, love, and gratitude. Namaste.